My name is Gregg Barsby, PDGA number 15857, and we're here to talk about my 2018 Disc Golf World Championship victory. All right, Jomez Pro.
Hello and welcome to
World
final round
Championships.
coverage from the...
Oh boy, I look real mad. You can tell I'm deep in there. There's my buddy Chris. Yeah. So before the round started, I made sure that I was warmed up that day more than any of the other days, and I was probably warming up for 2.5 hours before that round, and I ran into James Conrad that morning, maybe with like an hour and a half before, and we made kind of a pact or an oath that if I wasn't gonna win, that he would win, and if he doesn't win, I would win, because we hadn't had a long-haired world champion in a long time, so we had that going. We had the brotherhood of the hair.
Barsby's been on his focus all weekend.
Yeah, playing Thunderbird here.
I saw in the comments...
Still got this in my bag, too.
Across this bushy area?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, not what you want, but it got on the ground and it got safe. I was
nerves there.
super nervy off of hole one. I mean, you know, it's the most important round I've ever played, so.
Hard final day.
Yeah, 60-footer for Josh. Yeah, no problem here. Yeah, when Josh steps up to putts like this, I know where they're going.
Oh, he knows it.
Dead center, yeah. Josh is a scary good putter. I mean, I feel like Josh is one of the bosses in the video game. Like if you're gonna beat him, and now this is a proven and known fact, right? Avery had to beat Josh in 2009. Eric McCabe had to beat him in 2010. Nate Doss had to beat him in 2011. I mean, he is the final boss to get over. And then, you know, what is it, 7 years removed? There he is, right? It's like, oh, he's the boss, and the boss is gonna make every putt. So you got to find a way to beat the guy that makes every putt. So you don't hear it. You don't hear it in this video, but I don't know. I think there was a lady out there who had her phone on, and it was like chirping, like a cricket. It's like before that putt, I remember just hearing this phone, and it was a cricket. Of course, I'm like, it's crickets. That's not the sound you want to hear, you know? So Josh basically evaporates the lead on me there.
It's the final day of the Worlds. Can he really lay that up?
I'm playing Eagle, Shankaroo.
It's a big risk.
You just got to keep playing. You know, that's the thing about these long tournaments. Is it's 90 holes, right? So you're gonna have a little bit longer to play. And, you know, you can really fall into rhythm. Yeah, it's a good place to be. This was one of the most important shots of the day right here.
Great
Yeah.
stroke there.
Yeah, knocked that one down. That was a big bonus, right? After missing the first three, right, to get that one with a little bit of a win putt. That was big, real big. And now hole 5. There's a lot of storylines to winning this Worlds, but I gotta say, getting this one all 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm. So it's surprising that this whole...
Yeah, I got this one every round, throwing this Thunderbird like so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's
Greg needed to throw this shot
boy, oh
right
boy.
here. This looks fantastic. Wow, that is so clutch.
I have to say, look, I'm just gonna try to do that again every time for the rest of eternity. You know what I mean?
Josh, the leader.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Barsby,
Josh, baby.
Second place.
Josh is 5 through 5. At this point, I'm like, he's never gonna stop, you know? Okay, so this was a huge pivot moment of the tournament when Josh, you know, and his putter just got up and floated all the way OB. I couldn't believe it. So I knew that this was kind of a pivotal moment where like I had to execute. I mean, this is what I would consider a fairly simple hole, but you still gotta hit the shot.
I think Greg will take that though. He's
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and grab a birdie.
Parked.
Greg going with a huge forehand. This should easily make the landing zone. Well, maybe not easily, but it's there.
Germ's like, he probably throws that same shot, you know? You know, by this time you're like 12 days in, you've been playing golf for 2 weeks straight, you know? So kind of running on fumes, if you will, right? You kind of get on adrenaline. I think I actually threw it in the OB there, but adrenaline pushed it over the edge and kept me safe. Josh playing it down, and this is the one he pulled this. Did it hit and kick right?
Oh, no.
I remember that. This was a really big chance for me to just take full control. And I blew this shot. Remember that blew this one. I was not happy with this one.
Terrible branch for
Yeah,
Josh.
it just held over too long. When Josh opened the door like that, I mean, I think I was licking my chops more than like I was nervous. I think I just overplayed it a little bit. An angle that's this much out of the hand is 30 feet at the end of the flight. So
Calvin had a tap in for 3.
Yeah, it boggles the mind. Absolutely.
Barsby, please.
Hey, get in there.
Get his par before.
I still watch it. I'm like, God, come on.
Pretty common shots for these players to be messing up.
No way.
Safe. What a break.
Okay.
See, I forget how close that was to OB. I pretty much threw that one out of bounds too. It just found the ground. Yeah. That's a good call from Germ. I was definitely going for it. Oh my gosh. Conrad. That's like a foreshadowing right there. After this hole,
Finishing the front 9.
this is where Macbeth had
Keep his 2.
this is where Macbeth had kind of crept back into the conversation. He was playing pretty well.
Is there an after 9 evaluation?
Choke
Or is it just you just keep going? It's one round.
Yeah, you just got to play shot to shot. I mean, if you start getting too far ahead of yourself, that's something that every golfer can subscribe to if they can get into the shot making instead of being like, oh, I've got to play this round really good or I have to play this hole really well. If you can just get into the shot making, that's the key because it keeps you there, keeps you in the moment, takes you away from some of the external thoughts and stuff you don't have control over. Put it right there, you know.
Keep putting the shots close to the basket like this.
That's right. Keep them close.
38
Okay.
under.
Look, the deal is Macbeth's charging, but if I birdie them all, then he can't catch me. You know what I mean? That was kind of my thought process at that point. If I get all of them, then I'll still beat him, you know?
Quite a bit.
Yeah, 11. Okay, going to that Thunderbird.
Getting a little turn on this. This is going to go a long way.
Yep.
Perfect.
That gives you that nice angle
Perfect.
that you like, just off to the
Can
left
can
side.
place it down there better. The Fox Run course, it tries to bait you into throwing longer, and then when you go to the high speed discs, there's more fade at the end of them. As a golfer, and as you know, what I would consider a really really high level course manager, you don't need the distance driver. The distance driver actually gets you in more trouble. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. Sometimes you want to go to that fast one when you know you got that shot, but there's other ones that there's no reason because, you know, getting a par from 200 feet and then getting a par from 260 feet, there is no difference. I wanted that one to get all the way down here, but here's the putt. This is the putt. I feel like that probably the most career-defining putt I've ever made. I made one the first round from up on top of the rock wall, which is even more psychotic because the OB's right there. But I was feeling that shot so much. And at this point in the tournament, like I know I've got a birdie, you know, and I know it's dangerous, but look, that's the game you got to play, you know, live by the sword, die by the sword.
And so you really need that late break.
Yes.
Wow.
With a slow-mo here, it just sucks the disc into the bucket.
They might be gone with that
So
putt
good.
there.
What an animal to run that downhill putt with the OB.
Yeah, that's
behind
crazy.
you.
I don't think I laid up a shot for 2 or 3 years until later on in this round. At this level, I feel like any of the top players, they know when they're going to make the putt most of the time. And like I looked at that putt and I kind of got my footing and I was like, oh yeah, I'm running this. I can make it.
And Gregg says, I'm not laying up. I mean, he's
Never.
not trying to.
Never lay
He
up.
kind of is, but that's just because it's
So this was like that same thing the first round.
Gregg.
I threw this in the first round. Off the nubs that time. Oh my gosh.
Just off.
Now I think the nerves are starting to really creep in on me. Just as a pro that's been playing for so long, I've had really good success. I've beat every great player in the last 4 eras of the sport, but I'd never really done it at the right time. You know, I'm starting to really feel the nerves because, okay, we've worked a long time for this. I've spent a lot of years on tour. I mean, I toured before there was really any money in the sport. And, you know, I'd go home and dig ditches with my dad when I'd come home from the tour and, you know, build up some cash flow and then go back out on the tour and then, you know, do it all again. And
You really can still dream. Would that make? I think he can still dream. Especially with that.
it's the same reaction. It's the same exact reaction. As I look back and as I think back to this tournament, I really threw my way to the win after watching this final round. I think I was playing that Green Boss at the time.
Gregg.
It's kind of fun to watch this video.
Say that he's playing.
Just after I had said, oh, I'm throwing my way to victory, and then I just...
That was
not my best effort there on 14, for sure.
That backside?
I didn't make this, did I? No.
Ooh, sit down.
Oh, my So sketchy. This was a new hole, 15, for the World's year. It's the first year they had cut it in, and I remember practicing this hole and thinking they made this hole for me. They made it for my forehand, and it's just like it's exactly where my disc should go. If I were a video game character or it was a tutorial round, that would be the tutorial shot. You would just throw it right down there, right onto the wood chips. This is actually probably, I'd say, the best forehand I've ever thrown.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
that's what he's
I've thrown a lot of good forehands, but
Greg can
never a more clutch one than this one.
Here, look at this.
Yeah, wood chips.
Inside
Ken Climo, wood chips. That's his. He told me the story how he won Portland Masters Worlds one year. It was hilarious, and he's like, "Yeah, put it to the wood chips."
the headbanger from there.
Yeah, I like that headbanger.
See, I did that because the whole metal.
Yeah,
Barsby thing.
Yeah.
yeah. Germ knows I'm a big time metalhead, so true headbanger. Yep. Oh hey, I'm Josh.
Just outside his circle, he knows it out of his hand.
The pressure on these putts is unbelievable.
So at this point, he makes that. and
Telling
where does
you,
that-
bro.
Where does that put it?
This dude is just. I mean, we're within one.
And you
All right,
know
there's-
he's got to know.
There's the elusive number, the 40. Because I know Macbeth was in the clubhouse. That was another thing on 15.
Mm-hmm.
Macbeth was already in the clubhouse at 39, and I was at 39 going into 15. So I'm like, this hole's meant for you. So to execute it and get to 40 really took a weight off my shoulders. I remember I really had a lot of weight on my shoulders on 15. Okay, so 16. Now this is interesting. I don't know what happened exactly here. From what I've heard, I thought initially that I maybe rolled off the rock wall. What I heard was that my buddy Jordan Castro was up there watching and it hit him. Is what I heard. I heard that the disc hit Jordan and then rolled back into the fairway here.
It's a tough
So I'm going to see.
watch.
Yeah.
Because really, them
I'm going Roadrunner just a little bit to the left, but it's holding, it's holding, it's holding.
Kind of messed this up.
I think
he
it
gets
did.
the fantastic roll.
I think you can't really see him, but I think it did hit him. Okay, here's a good one. Now we're getting into the weeds.
Yeah.
16, second shot, run up the hill, right? I've never been great at the uphill run-ups. I was talking with Ken Climo. I went down to his house and went and visited him. We were obviously kind of reminiscing about the Worlds, and Kenny said this was, in his opinion, the shot of the tournament. Which, it's funny that he would say that, right? Kenny's really astute, so his IQ for the sport is off the chart. But it's funny he would say that because he understands the hyper technicality of all the things going on, right? You've got OB on the left and the right. You've got an uphill run up, and you basically got to punch this gap. And if you miss the gap, that's when the terrible will happen, right? You'll kick OB and then you'll be cut off, not have a chance even to get maybe a bogey. You could double it, in his opinion, the shot of the
Be
tournament.
able to get out and
Oh, wow. Is it
Barely made that gap. Oh, it's so
Yes.
perfect.
what?
Peter Malak.
Huge
birdie look?
This is my favorite, You guys do Hunger Games, right?
situation.
Ha ha ha! Peter Malak. Oh, this one. I can't wait to watch this.
Just to get past Macbeth, who's already off the course.
Just an airball.
Greg,
I'm having a mental breakdown, dude, on 16. But this is so funny. I'm watching myself maybe implode,
Not
And Josh is just,
how can he be? Because this is about to be a one
yeah,
stroke.
he's locked in.
got that right.
You can't even putt better than that. Josh, he wants it, dude. He's stomping through. So
Things can't happen.
17. No, there's a few different ways people play this hole. This is the stuff that separates. It's usually the littlest thing. This hole, it kind of slopes down to the left. Knowing that, I'm playing a nice, wide but high in the air shot. Ideally to, you want the gravity to pull the disc down and you want the energy to be eaten going down, not forward. And I practiced this hole and I was piping it. I did exactly what I wanted. And, with Josh's drive here, it doesn't have the height and it turns a little early. So he's kind of more flush with the edge. And this is obviously one of the worst rolls ever. This is the 1 out of 20 roll. You'll have 1 out of 20 or 10, 15 at that angle that'll roll. And yeah. But you could see the disc skip, right? And that's not what you want on that one. If you match that grade too close, the disc has too much energy, So I always try to keep this one up in the air and he caught the skip and slow roll.
And
that is not right there.
Yeah,
worst.
that's a tough break. And, you know, if you watch this video, you'll see that my disc was probably about 15 feet higher than his.
Wide of the trees.
Yeah, but this is super tight as well. If this
And
doesn't
then-
dig, this could get the same result Josh had, but no.
Wow.
Not as forward of a skip. This putt is as close as it looks. You know, this was probably the most important putt of my life. You know, I've made a million 25 footers, but
Greg can hit this and move to 41.
none more important than that one.
That's gonna give him
Yeah,
two
baby.
strokes to play.
Oh yeah,
Dawn's
kind of starting to feel it at this point. 18, man. Yeah, I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna throw this destroyer my buddy Indrik gave to me in Estonia on that trip I was telling you about, and it says on the bottom of that disc, it says, "Greg, you the best." That's what he wrote on it. So I'm like looking at the disc, I'm like, "You the best," and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we're on hole 90 of 90 holes, like I've got a lead, like you the best, you know. And I'm like, okay, I'm the best, you know. So I didn't play my super overstable destroyer. I you know, sometimes you want to like, okay, it's got to get over the inbounds. That's number one here. It's got to get back to the left, has to cross. That way you're at least down there if it goes OB. But then I came back to myself and said, okay, I don't need to take the super overstable one. We're going to take the very overstable one. And I'm going to throw it hard with angle. I'm going to hammer this thing. And I'm going to pipe that angle. So I think this was a smart play.
Macbeth.
You know, it was a close one, but.
This is it. If this drops, get down.
Yeah, exactly. Could have had it a little higher. I like playing this one maybe a touch higher as well.
Sit.
Oh, man.
Sit.
Sexton. I love it.
And you said you threw the very overstable, not the stupid overstable one.
Yeah.
And then you were in bounds by a foot left.
That was a little bit of a
Is
more of a roll than I wanted there, but
Is it worth saying that you picking the disc that said you the best kept that in bounds?
100%. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Man, you know what's crazy? I've watched this video a couple times. It is so cool to think like, you know, there's somebody jumping up and down. A few people jumping up and down because my disc went in bounds. That's like the coolest feeling. A lot of love. I grew up in the mountains, so I feel like there's a lot of similarities to the air out here. And but yeah, it's really cool seeing people jumping up and down.
Full putting. Oh, look at
So I've been running everything everywhere, like wherever I am, I'm running it, right? And like I actually got up to that putt and was thinking about running it for 2 seconds, you know, and then thankfully something, you know, in my heart said, like, what are you doing? This is for the championship. It's the only tournament that matters. So getting to lay that one up and then kind of giving like I wouldn't say a snarky look, but, you know, kind of giving everybody the, oh, yeah. Remember me? I didn't have to run this one. Yes. Got to be smart when you lay up. I don't do it very often, but.
Here it is. Slow Mez before he even
Bink.
does it.
Man of the year.
Man, that pink one was so sweet. I love it. Nick's in the background, too. Like, people are all hyped in the background.
You want to say world champion.
Germs that everywhere.
His first major title.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
That basket's
the
waiting for me,
monkeys
too.
off the back.
When I first started playing, it was Ken Climo's disc. He's the world champion, and that's why his name's on it. And like Juliana Bauer at the time, and then Korver. Nobody else had their name on discs. So that's the only tournament to win. Really. Nowadays, there's like Tour Series discs, and there's all sorts of stuff. But when I came up, right, like you don't get your name on the disc until you win that championship. So winning that was kind of like, you know, life goal from like age like 10, 11. Being back at the Worlds and Smugs is amazing. I don't think you could find a better place to host a world championship. Happy to win the last one, but I'm ready to get out there and go fight for another one, you know, and try to hit the pressure release valve. Let's try to knock some more putts down, maybe a few more than that final round, you know, make it a little bit easier on myself. Maybe not so much stress. So much stress coming down that final stretch. PDGA Pro Worlds 2023 back at Smuggler's Notch. Let's go, baby. Hope everybody enjoys.